Tyler told me, follow your gut news. Alright, Dave. I think I can do that. What was the project called?
Alright, I think we are streaming to some things, but I'm having some trouble streaming to other things, so bear with me.
Okay. Which one are you having a hard time starting?
Facebook.
It's been taking a long time to like bring up the go live button. It took it a while the other day.
Usually does. That part I'm used to. It's the, like, it's been popping up with error after error.
Oh no.
So, but it looks like it should be ready to go soon. As soon as the go live button actually happens.
Alright, well I'm gonna go over to Facebook and see if we're there. There we are on Facebook, Steve.
We are on Facebook because I haven't started Facebook
Not
yet.
Facebook, YouTube. Words are hard, okay?
Okay. I've been worried.
Hey guys, we've got Scott, and we've got Poison, and Dan, and Esther Boxo, and Robert the 55th, and Billy. I've never seen Billy before. Billy might be a different name for someone who's done Sketch and Scotch before, though. And Cat's BFF, and Killer Glove. We got all the guys on here. It has been a long time, guys. We are happy to be back, though.
Alright. Finally. So that took like 3 minutes for it to even figure out.
And Tappy's on, too.
Hi, Tappy.
Okay, so first and foremost, I'm going to point people down to the description doodly-doo, because that has the link to the Google Doc. And in that link in the Google Doc, it has a link to an album for pictures from Gen Con, and that is an open album that people can add their own pictures to. So, for now, for tonight. And so if you guys have pictures from Gen Con that are associated to the overall Sketch and Scotch vibe, please put those pictures up into the photo link inside the Google Doc.
Speaking of which, how is that we didn't get any pictures together, Tappy? It's crazy.
I know, she kept stopping by. I think I'm going to put this forward. After you sit and stare at someone for 3 hours and paint them, you feel like you've like harassed them enough.
Yeah.
That you don't want to ask for more pictures.
There is that. I was looking through stuff to post on social media and stuff, and I'm like, how do I not have a picture of me and Tappy? I have plenty of pictures of me painting Tappy, but it's not quite the same.
And we got to see Esther Oxo and Bethany and Cat's BFF and Mini Esther Oxo. And I took pictures, well, they took pictures on their phone, and that's part of the reason I'm putting that album up, is so that they can post those up into the album. So, yeah. Gen Con was awesome. Should I get Steve started? What, do you remember what the project was called that Tim was talking about?
No.
Alright. Well, I'm going to I'm gonna tell you guys about a little thing. Our friend told us this awesome funny thing about how they're hoping to basically create a project to reverse engineer a dinosaur.
Oh, them, yes.
By using by going off the premise that at least a certain branch of dinosaurs, the one with 3 claws, are modern day birds. And so they're going off that, and they're thinking that if that is true, you can actually go and turn back on or turn off genetic markers and turn some back on in the genetic code, and basically from a chicken you can make a dinosaur. And they want to make it a crowdsourced project, so it's everywhere, it's everyone. And so he was describing that, and we just had the most wonderful visual in our head. And if you search for it online, there's tons of pictures of it, of a dinosaur chicken. So Steve, that's your scoodle tonight, is a dinosaur
That's what we're doing?
chicken.
Dinosaur chickens?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what you're going to get started on. And everyone gets to draw dinosaur chickens. Killer says, has no one seen Jurassic Park? Seriously, if you read what they're doing, it's exactly the plot to Jurassic Park. It's great. I'm so excited. Astroxo said he had a great time at Gen Con. He now knows why people go for multiple days.
Yes, one day is not even close to enough.
Yes. And Steve is all better. He is not sick. And I didn't get sick because of him.
Streaming, because everything that goes wrong with my computer goes wrong during this stream. It's rock solid the rest of the time, but when we have technical difficulties, it's always during the stream. I don't know if it's
Right, it looks like it's back up.
I don't know if it's just trying to do too much or what, but we do seem to have some.
Well, especially we were able to stream from this little baby surface here. From the hotspot on my phone. And yeah, it was choppy at times.
Cat was streaming over 4G, 3G, whatever. We actually found that at conventions, if you step down to a different network, you get a lot better reception. Because not everyone in the universe is using it. So what's everybody else been doing for the last 2 weeks? We haven't talked to you for a bit.
Yes. Business Wolf is here.
Hey, Business Wolf.
Hey, Business Wolf. Upload pictures. That's what you're saying. Just to do our little commercial break, like, love, and tell everyone about Sketch and Scotch. Steve has a website. It's steveargyle.com. And if you want to be part of the conversation, you feel free to watch on. Did you stream to Twitch also?
We're
on Twitch and Facebook, and you can lurk there. But if you want to be part of the conversation, you should come on over to YouTube, and that's the chat on the bottom of the video. It's youtube.com/user/Steve Argyle spelled out, not a period. SteveArgyle.com. So yeah. We got to see all sorts of awesome people and tons of minions while we were at Gen Con last week. And like we were telling people, if you saw us and took a picture with us, in the doodly-doo description, we have the normal G-Doc. And in there we have a link to a album. And you should have access to upload pictures to there. So people should upload their pictures from Gen Con there, and other people should go there to check out pictures.
Yes. Yeah.
And Astroxa did update us that the game Sparkle Kitty was a ton of fun.
We came home with just 2 games because, of course, we end up spending most of our time at the booth. But we got a game about Disney villains that look super fun, and we got this other game that we probably shouldn't talk about, but it also looks super fun.
Yeah. Yes. Business Wolf says that they gave his mom one of the cat dragon tokens, and she loved it.
Awesome.
That was cool. We got to meet Business. Scott says he got to have a lovely trip with his wife for their 3-year anniversary. Poison, sadly enough, has had a bunch of family emergencies.
Sorry to hear that.
Billy threw his back out. Oof. Dan drove from East Tennessee to Arizona.
That's a lot of time.
He's in Arizona right now. So, yeah, everyone's been all over the place. And yes, Scott, congratulations on your 3-year anniversary.
Another of our usual attendees, Quiet C, is also in a truck on a long distance journey from Gen Con all the way back here.
Yes, I don't know if she's joining tonight, but she's almost on her way back home. She'll get home tomorrow. So, yeah, just to let people know, I guess we always let people know our upcoming stuff will be at Dragon Con at the very end of the month, beginning of the next month. And then right after Dragon Con, we'll be at Salt Lake City Comic Con. It will be insane.
Yes, when we say right after, we mean like 1 or 2 days. We're basically going to get off the plane and go straight to the convention center, like off the plane from Dragon Con, and go straight to Salt Lake City Comic Con. They've overlapped in previous years, which is really bad, but this year they were just super close together, so no rest for the wicked.
Yeah. The only reason we're doing the 2 close together is that Salt Lake City Comic Con is in our backyard, so.
Yeah, it's our home convention.
Yeah.
And they're good to us.
Robert the 55th moved last week.
Yeah. If you haven't gotten it already, there should be a package for you.
Oh, Robert the 55th? Did it go to his new place?
It went to the new address that you sent me a week or 2 ago.
Oh, okay. That scared me. Yeah, your chicken looks a little obscene, Steve.
So it's waddle or whatever they are. I don't know what you guys are seeing, pervs.
Make sure if you did your squom work, the squom work was from last week was your favorite character's fitness or workout routine. And so Steve posted that up. It was Brigitte doing her Uber kettlebells. You can show that again, I guess, after you finish your
After I finish my totally not obscene regular chicken dinosaur.
Chicken dinosaur!
It's just a regular chicken dinosaur.
Cabby says if it was a token, it'd have to have populate. And then everyone else, as we always tell people, we hope you guys start scoodling too. The scoodle for tonight, again, is a chicken dinosaur. And the Google Doc for you to put your... so you guys should sketch however much, because art makes life better. So you sketch your version of a chicken dinosaur and put it into the Google Doc, which is in the description or the doodly-doo at the bottom of the YouTube. Such an angry chicken.
He's a dinosaur. They're angry.
Angry
Plus,
chicken.
people have been fiddling with his genetics. That would make me grumpy. I guess that depends. I mostly like my genetics, but there are improvements that could be made. For one, I want to stop aging because it's stupid.
Oh, we got updates to our Gen Con pictures, Steve.
Sweet.
So we have pictures of you with the awesome death rite.
Tarmacat.
Mm-hmm.
Tarmacat.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And then we have pictures of the original painting that you and the other artists did during the painting night. It's the painting of Tappy Toes.
That was super fun.
That
turned out really. A lot of so I was a little bit nervous, like how it was going to turn out, and if it, but me and Howard Lyon did it at GP Vegas, and so most of my how is this going to work was worked out, but some of the other artists were like, what are we doing? I don't know, this is weird, I don't know, but all of them afterwards were like, that was amazing, that was great.
Yeah, so. And then we have pictures of us and Howard Taylor in our yearly.
We always run into him at the airport.
On the way to or from.
On the way, usually on the way to and from, and I mean we should just start scheduling it or something. Like, we will meet at what's the place called? Harry and Izzy's. Do we always run into him for breakfast?
Yes, on the way out from Gen Con. Then we have pictures of Steve and the other artists during the painting session with Tappy. They put up pictures of me and Cat's BFF, and then us.
We got to meet Cat's BFF finally.
Asteroxo family. We got the picture of all of us hanging out together, and me and Cat's BFF's arms are linked and having fun. It was so cool, and so they posted those ones up. If you want to see the pictures, you can go to, like I said, click on the link in the description. And there's another link to the album there. Asteroxo asked maybe next year in Vegas for live painting again.
I hope so.
I think we might do it. People really seem to like it.
Mm-hmm.
We might try to set it up for Salt Lake City Comic Con too.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Or FanX, I guess is what they're calling it these days. The kids are calling it these days.
Well, as I understand it, they got in a little bit of trouble for calling it Comic Con. Which is, I mean, that's silly, but.
We thought it was a Comic Con affiliate. That's why we did it the first year.
Yeah, the kerfuffle was that there is an official Comic Con, right? And even though they have multiple locations, they're all run by the same company, and they're all the ones that do San Diego Comic Con. And they sued Salt Lake because they were using the term name Comic Con. They were Salt Lake Comic Con, and essentially what it came down to was, do people think that this is that company? And they decided that they did, so they had to change their name.
Yeah.
So not a huge deal or anything, but
also a funny thing for the longtime Sketch and Scotchers is in the pictures uploaded by Asteroxo's family. Becca and Asteroxo are wearing No Horses t-shirts. They've had them made for the show. They're awesome. So if you want to see those, they look great.
That might end up becoming the official Team Argyle thing to get No Horses t-shirts.
Yes, it was awesome. Oh, your dino chicken is so scary.
He's a dinosaur chicken. I mean,
everyone was talking about dinosaurs are scary.
Dinosaurs are scary.
Asterox says that explains why Wizard World is now Wizard World, not Chicago Comic-Con like they knew growing up.
Yeah, I think
New York didn't have a change of thing because I think New York is truly a sister one to the San Diego.
Yeah, I think so too. But if they're not, then that kind of illustrates the point. We did True Dungeon.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of fun. We did it twice.
Two different stories.
The first time we were awesome and we basically breezed right on through and no one died except at the very end.
At the very end, half our team got disintegrated.
Excuse me. And then we went through the second one, Odin's Wandering Bowels or whatever that one was. And while it was theoretically very, very cool and well put together and everything,
Parts of it were awesome.
It was barbaric, right? So you start and you make characters and you gear up and everything, and everybody has somewhere between 15 and 30 hit points. I had 18 hit points. And the first room, they're like, okay, here's the puzzle, and every time you screw up, you take 2 damage. So a handful of us took a little bit of damage, and then if the whole team doesn't solve the whole thing, everybody takes 6 damage.
That wasn't the first room. The first room was the
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie.
No, the first room was the Valkyrie.
Fun.
The Valkyrie was awesome.
You had to figure out a puzzle. She gave you 3 different ways in order to get into Valhalla. And it was super fun.
And that was really cool little room. And then
in order to get out of the room, you had to go through this awesome, funny little planar membrane. Yes, and it was this like two bounce houses squished together, and you had to like squeeze between them for like 5 feet. It was so fun.
Yeah, they were like these giant inflatable
glowy walls
pad things that were scooshed together. So you had to like wriggle through them, and it wasn't like, oh, there's like 2 feet of this. It was like a hallway, and so you're like just flopping around trying to get through this thing. That was funny. That was kind of cool. And I guess so. It was the second room where we immediately started taking damage.
And some people had solved it and gotten across before we ran out of time, but the GM still said, "Oh well, they take damage."
Yeah, you guys as a group didn't solve it, so everybody takes 6 damage. So every time you screwed up, you took 2, and then you took 6. So a lot of people are already down 6 to 10 points. You go into the next room, and they're like, "Okay, it's cold in here. Everybody take 4 damage."
Okay,
geez.
Cold. And
this troll shows up. He's cackling at you. Take 4 damage. Wait, what? And like at this point, I have 1 hit point. I'm almost dead already. But I didn't. I only took.
And we were being observant, and we were pointing out things, but I feel like the GM wasn't giving us credit for that.
Yeah.
Like the room was awesomely set up. The troll was well acted, but I don't feel like the GM was giving us credit for.
Yeah, like a lot of the things
for stuff that we observed, but couldn't do much about. I don't know.
A lot of the things that you could have been critical about in previous years, like the costumes and the animatronics and the sets and things, those were spot on. Those were really well done. They had addressed a lot of the issues. Like they even took a lot of the
Business Wolf put his picture up.
Awesome.
With you.
But the scenarios were so and it may simply have been like luck of the draw, like the DM is rolling behind the screen and on a D20 1 to 3 is take 4 damage, and we just kept doing it. But by the end of that second room or third room, pretty much everybody was dead.
Well, Steve died in the first
I
and the
died in
second
the-
room,
yeah.
and then, or no, that was the third room.
It was immediately upon entering the third room where
Steve
it's like,
died on the third room.
welcome,
and then we
take
went
4
on to the
damage.
fourth room, and it was as equally had a problem with the GM not being clear.
yeah, these giants, and they're just
Things
like,
weren't described
okay,
well.
you guys are dying. Continue to die. Oh, you can't really kill the giants. I mean, you can fight them, but they're just knocking you off the mountain over and over
we
again.
party wiped pretty much right there.
Yeah.
Then we just went on and played the puzzles after that, and that was really fun.
Yeah, and it's not that big of a deal. Like, we've done True Dungeon forever, and so for me, it was, okay, that happens. We died our first True Dungeon. It's not uncommon, and that's just the way things go. But a handful of one I can think of the people who went with us really weren't experienced with True Dungeon, and they were like, I paid $80 for that. Well, then I am done. This is just
Well, even
stupid,
our
you know?
experienced guys were really grumpy with how some
Yeah.
stuff was handled.
Yeah, I mean, nobody was happy because it wasn't clear why this stuff was happening, and that it would have worked better for everybody, I think, if they said, like, if at some point we go, oh, we missed this obvious clue, or we died because we didn't solve the thing. It seemed more like just, you know how everybody has played that game of D&D with the DM who feels like his job is to just kill you. Like, he wins the game if everyone dies. That's what it felt like, is they were just trying to kill you, and because they had all the power, they did. They just killed you.
Yeah.
But that being said, it was still fun.
The sets were awesome. The giants were really cool, and there was like a cage, and the girl from there is your GM for the rest, and she was super cool and awesome.
Yeah.
So our first and our last GMs were amazing.
Yeah, and the production was really, really good. The costumes and the animatronics and the sets, they did some really cool effects to. Like, there was an astral plane. What they did is they had everything. You went in these rooms that were essentially just mirrors everywhere.
Mirrors and then projections of stars that were basically reflected in all the mirrors.
They projected like this nebula that was moving around and stuff, and so you're kind of genuinely disoriented because even the floor was a mirror, and so you're just like, okay, well, I know I'm fine. I know that I am underneath Lucas Stadium,
a bit vertigo, yeah.
You're like, I genuinely feel disconnected from the world. There's a lot that's really impressive about it.
There was a rainbow bridge, and Steve and I did the rainbow bridge together. We passed it together, which was actually kind of hilarious and amazing. Most people didn't realize. When I tell people that went through and did it, that me and Steve passed it together, they were like, well, wow.
Well, that was one of the DMs she told. She's like, we did it together. We did this, and they're like, I would have paid to see that.
Yeah.
You did it at the same time? It's crazy.
It's super fun. Dan says he got signed another publishing contract with a publisher.
Nice.
Oh, Jingwick is finished his doodles. You should finish your doodles, Steve.
Yeah, I am just sort of running with it. I feel like to get the dinosaur feel, he needed more color. You know? He needed just a little bit of color.
I know, it's amazing. He just looks like an angry parrot.
That's true. Now that I put the orange back in his beak, it looks more like a mutated cockatiel who sat inside a microwave.
Controller says this seems not safe for work.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. What gutter are all of your minds in? This is just normal animal anatomy. all the chickens have it. I don't know what the problem is, you guys. Seriously.
Business Wolf says, one of my favorite memories from Gen Con was meeting Charles Urbach and Ezra Claxon. And they did portfolio reviews for him.
Oh, nice. That is very cool of them.
That is super cool. That sounds like a fun Gen Con.
Alright, I guess we should probably call it good and start on whatever else we're going to do, because we've only got like 20 minutes to do that.
Billy is telling you that roosters have combs, turkeys have wattles.
The thing
It's
on the
not
head?
a wattle.
So he's a dino turkey.
Oh.
That's what I had thought when I first started, was he needed the thing, and then I was like, is it roosters who have those, and then the chickens have, or the hens have the... So, yeah. Oh, right, it's the thing off the side of the thing. Off the beak.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who watches Sketch and Scotch, I imagine, suddenly goes, oh, no, anyone can do art, because look at how dumb Steve is. He can't spell. He doesn't know the thing that goes on the beak, or not. It's okay. The whole point of Sketch and Scotch is supposed to be that everyone can and should art. You don't have to be smart. Look at me. That's a little bit. A little bit.
Cat's BFF says it looks like your chicken's melting.
Melting chicken. Okay. So what I was thinking we would do is I had a new token for my Patreon last month. You know, the last month that was a couple of days ago. And so I was thinking I might do some of my little tokens while we chat. I have a handful that are assigned, you know, that people have their custom requests and stuff. But if you guys want to see me doodle some, these are all the kind of goofy lop-a-lop style. So if you guys want to...
lesson.
So if there's anything in particular you guys want to see as a token, let me know fairly quick so that we can get started. And I know that some of you, like Asterocco, already have...
That's what he just said. He's like, I put my request in this afternoon.
Yeah. I got it. I'm going to have to think about that one, because Asterocco wants a copy token. So I need to think of a clever way to do.
Xerox machine.
I was thinking that. Like you know how you have in D&D you have mimics, and they're basically just the treasure box with teeth and stuff? I was thinking of that, but a Xerox machine. But I want to let it percolate a little bit.
Poison says scorpion creature.
I don't know if there's a magic together.
Everyone asks you for an elf.
We do get asked for elves a lot.
You don't have an elf token.
Okay, do an elf. It's weird
Jamie
too.
says, have you done a wolf yet? Yeah.
I have
a couple wolves.
3 or 4 different wolves. That is the one thing that I think is a little bit funny, is every time we do the call for what do you guys want, they're mostly the same. So like every month I do a goblin, or every release I do a goblin, sometimes more than one goblin. There's usually a wolf, there's usually a vampire, and so I'm getting to where I have a wide selection of just single types of token. You know, when people say, hey, do you have zombies? It's like, well, I have like 20 different types of zombies. So take your pick. Which is fun and cool, and I have to keep kind of thinking of new ideas, new ways of doing things.
Jamie says long-awaited Death Touch snake. Don't you? Is that the same thing as the Death Touch worm? Which you have?
I do have. I have both.
Robert the 55th says he likes the antler wolf. It's cute. Billy says coral token.
Coral?
Squirrel.
Oh, squirrel. I have some squirrels.
You have one squirrel.
And there's going to be new squirrels because squirrels were one of the requested ones this month.
So Dan already asked kind of what you're talking about, as we talked about as maybe your lesson, but it's about developing your cartoon style.
So when you're not just when you're cartooning, but cartooning is the more extreme example. But even when you're just doing regular arty stuff, you want to be thinking about what can be simplified, what can be left out, and what should be exaggerated and emphasized. So when it comes to cartooning, it's fairly simple. You're leaving out a lot of the subtleties, a lot of the details, and you're exaggerating features. So you have big eyes. Well, sometimes if you're doing like anime, for example, they do great big eyes, little mouths, tiny noses. Whereas if you're talking about like Peanuts, like Charlie Brown type Peanuts, there's just dots for eyes. Calvin and Hobbes, just dots for eyes. But what you're doing is you're trying to get the idea across with fewer strokes and fewer colors and fewer things. And the way that you can do that is you're simplifying shapes. Like if you take the anime style, right? They usually break a face down. I'll do a little bit better. Sorry. So if you start with a circle for a face, anime tends to basically break it in half, and you've got a big forehead, and then you've got the bottom and the cheeks, and then great big eyes, because that's the part they've chosen to exaggerate. It's not right or wrong.
They decide what to punch up and what to downplay.
And then noses half the time are just like that, like nothing at all, and even mouths are usually like just a tiny little thing. And sometimes they'll just go crazy with the eyes, where they have reflections everywhere and they have different colors and all kinds of stuff, because they want to have some features exaggerated, and that's what the focus is. That's how the anime characters are speaking, mostly through their eyes, and doing those things like this and whatever. But that's not necessarily a right or wrong way. You can do your little face, and you decided, well, I don't want to break it in half. Some features will suggest things about your character, like a little bit of an exaggerated forehead is a little bit of an infantile feature, right? Like babies have big foreheads. If it gets bigger still, it seems a little if it's a grown-up character, it makes them dull and a little bit
Neanderthal.
Yeah, like meaty, like Neanderthal. So if you wanted to make a character that looked big and beefy and Neanderthal, you could say, well, we're gonna put the eye line way down here, and we'll exaggerate the forehead, and we'll make it big and square, because that's another thing you can do. And then he's not going to have really expressive eyes, so he's just going to have little dots, right?
That looks like a character from Behemoth.
Kind of does. And then if you wanted to keep going, a big old square, strong jaw. Although I did end up, if I wanted to stay with that really big forehead, I wouldn't take it back down that far. But I kind of like the idea of the monster jaw too. And you can put in features that, like, you don't have to avoid detail. Like, you can give him a cleft chin or something to make him look even more so, or you can stylize it, give him a little thing like that. Maybe he's got the big burly nose that's big and square and comes past where his mouth is. But the idea with cartooning is you're making these really big exaggerations and you're also simplifying things. In reality, there would be a lot more detail. You know, he has no bottom eyelids in this drawing. He has no roundness to them. He even has no eyebrows. And as you start adding those things, you're moving toward realism, but you're losing some of that cartoon
And
stylization and expressiveness. So when I was doing my little Lop guys, they started out with more than they have now. They started out with still a little bit of the egg head, and then, if I remember right, the original Lop had little nubby feet and came out a little bit more like Grimace from McDonald's.
he was even bigger than that. He was like lumpy. He was like a blob.
Yeah, I think he's
a big blob.
had.
He's even more blobby than that. He's pretty similar to what you do now, but yeah, you've simplified.
But he started out something like this, and I think he had still relative sized wings. I think he had ears. I don't remember.
No.
Did he? No.
He's just more. He looked a lot like a nowadays Lop. He's just more blobby, more fat.
So, when I decided I wanted to do something a little bit more with these guys, I took this stuff. You can develop the stylization, right? You don't have to just, it doesn't come out of nowhere. You look at a piece and you say, what can I do this with less, right? We need to know he has arms, for example, but do we actually need to see where they bend, right? Here's where they bend. We're not really getting anything out of that. We're not really getting anything out of seeing that he has a joint in there. So one of the first things I did is I said, well, they're just going to be nubs, right? I just want them nubs. He doesn't have fingers. He doesn't have hands. He doesn't have elbows. They're just nubs. Mm-hmm. And I figured, having them poke out at the bottom like that, I think I'll do that with the legs too. I'll have them almost seamlessly connect, right? Just get rid of that little extra bulge. And I kept going and thought, well, maybe, he doesn't really need a distinct neck either. And that's the simplification. You just does it still read as a person or a Lop, a little fat angel, if I take out these little extras? Do I really need them?
Poison was saying that she wants to do chibi forms of characters much better. This is how to do chibi too, is you distill down the things that make it that character and punch up the things that make it that character, but get rid of the stuff that doesn't. You don't try to do the whole costume. You just do the things that stand out about it.
I decided to make their wings a little smaller and give them just basically 3 feathers. They don't need any more. I partially developed this too because when I go to GPs and stuff, people ask for sketches on their playmats or their whatever, and we'll give them the spiel. It's like, okay, well, here's what it costs and whatever. But we always get people who are like, well, no, I don't want to pay for anything. I just want to sketch. I just want to doodle. But I don't want to pay for it. So while we could just go, well, then maybe you should just not ask us for things for free. instead, I was like, I'll just come up with a little fast little thing that takes barely any more time than the signature itself. And that's when the Lapalops were born. And they've kind of developed into a whole little world and ecosystem in my head.
Yeah, he has a whole story for him.
But
Tappy was saying it's the same way that she draws dinosaurs now. All doofy Tappy boys are super easy to draw. Yep. And just distill, and it's not something that happens overnight too. You kind of keep distilling things down.
Yeah.
And refining the style.
Mm-hmm. You take the features that you need and that you want to use to show, to express or whatever, and then you can exaggerate those and take everything else away. So the angel, all an angel needs is wings, right? And a vaguely humanoid shape. But I also do like little dragons. And so for the dragons, I'll, they need that little serpentine shape. So I make kind of an S, but I'll exaggerate the undulations, right? So a lot of times
you want it to be kind of that tubby little cutesy again.
Yeah. So I'll make them. I don't know why I like making all my little cartoon characters pudgy. They're just cuter that way to me. But I'll also like you want that little undulation to show that they're a long snaky thing, and even though it is more detail, part of the exaggeration there is it just keeps going, right? It's long, bloaty waves, and then they usually have their teeth, their scary dragony teeth, and so
But because it's a cartoon, you don't do that scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to keep it friendly, you can use shape language, right? So they're teeth, but they're not sharp, right? They're little.
Your ploppa-plops have sharp teeth.
The ploppa-plops have sharp teeth. That's true. But you get the teeth, and then you've got your lower jaw, and that underbite I like. So I exaggerate that. This bottom jaw comes way out. Then he's got his semi-sinister eyeball, and one of the things I like doing is having the other eyeball basically sticking out the side. So you get the idea that these are bulgy bug eyes almost, which is not necessarily a dragon thing, but it's funny. And then, we make him friendly, so we give him a little bit of a smile. He's a dragon, so we'll give him a little bit of that underbelly thing. And he already is reading like he's reading like a snake right now, but put some simple wings on him. Maybe these little things here, because that's a dragon thing. These little dorsal spine scale things, and he's reading enough like a dragon now, so he probably should have arms and legs, but they're totally not important, right? They just need to exist. So again, they don't need to be much. I want to give the idea that he has claws, so I just put a little nub with an extra nub, and now he has a little hand. And same with the feet. And I make him tiny and put him up there because that exaggerates that big dragon belly he has, right? His belly's so big that it hangs way past his arms and legs. And then sometimes, because he's fire breathing, I will do a little bit of smoke or something.
Very stylized, silly smoke. Dan says, have you ever done a lot of Mountain Dew fixing?
I don't think so. I've done Mountain Dew Elementals. The Lapalop style doesn't usually get vixen-y types. Like it doesn't.
They
get silly eyes.
So.
Yay! So
yeah, that's our short little lesson on how to kind of. You worded it earlier better than this, but like how to make something more cartoony, how to punch it up
and exaggerate. And it's not just
simplify, exaggerate. Yeah.
It's not just for cartooning either. All of any serious piece of artwork you're doing too, you want to try and simplify things that are not important, so that the parts that are important come out.
It's interesting to actually say, even put this forward, is like a really competent cartoon is actually in some ways harder than a very realistic piece.
It's true. Like cartooning doesn't get a lot of credit because it looks easy. It looks like it's just a handful of lines, and if you watch a cartoonist, they're fast, right? They can just knock the thing out. That doesn't mean it's not difficult. It means that they know what they're doing. There's that saying that the true sign of a master is when they do it, it looks easy and it looks like anyone could do it. You get that a lot with cartoonists and comic book and anime artists.
Right.
Where
Pause before you do that. We should do a commercial break, Steve.
Okay.
This commercial break is brought to you by.
Oh, I have to come up with something.
I don't know. I can't come up with something.
By the Dinosaur Chicken Steakhouse, where we.
Wings and things?
Yeah, dinosaur wings in buffalo sauce. With our genetically modified chicken. We have the most genetically modified food. I don't know. I really should come up with these things before the show because...
But anyway, commercial break is just remember to like, love, and tell everyone about Sketch and Scotch. The squam work is... the Scoodle design is a dinosaur chicken. So get your dinosaur chickens done, and then you can go in the doodly-doo little description of this video in YouTube, and you can put it in a little G-Doc, and we'll review those at the end. We'll be at Dragon Con, where you guys can sign up to get alters or sketches and stuff like that at the end of the month. And then Salt Lake City Comic Con at the beginning of next month. So that's only 1 week apart. So, yeah.
Is anyone on the stream planning on being at either of those shows?
Anyone going to be at either Dragon Con or Salt Lake City Comic Con, or Salt Lake City Fan X?
Yes. The pre-orders for Dragon Con are closed, and the pre-orders for Salt Lake City Comic Con open a week from now, I think. Next
15th,
Wednesday.
Right?
Yeah.
So, next Wednesday, not tomorrow. Astroxo says his brother's going to Dragon Con.
Oh. It's where we met Bakari, who's not on anymore these days, but
that's where we first met Bakari.
So even with your regular artwork, if you're trying to do something serious, keeping things simplified can actually make the piece stronger, right? So say you're doing a serious person here, right? Instead of going through and detailing every little thing, you can get things down to simple shapes. These are shadow shapes. It'll make more sense. And
stop and think about overall important parts of the character so that you can remove unneeded busy things to draw more attention to the important parts of the character.
And that simplification can help you convey mood, right? Like I'm doing this sort of overhead lighting where it's covering this character's eyes. So there's no emotion or anything there. There's nothing to see, and that itself conveys an emotion, right? There's it's dark and there's something eerie and dead about it, you know. And while we're at it, you can also get rid of. You can make a stronger composition by getting rid of unnecessary contrast, right? So we've got these shadows and stuff, and you've got this hard contrast at the top of her head, and back here to a degree. It's okay to let things disappear. In fact, you want to. You want shapes, shadows to blend into each other, even if they're not on the same object. It's okay if there's something dark enough back here that you lose where the head stops and starts and stuff like that. That's stuff that you want to be doing. You want to be looking for ways to do. If you feel like it's too much, you want to bring something back. It's easy enough, but you kind of push and pull and figure out what shapes are working and not working, necessary and unnecessary. This shadow here looks almost like it's just part of a shirt, so maybe just carry it off to the side a little bit, make it look even more overhead. But again, the idea is you want to simplify where you can. You want to have
so that the eye is drawn to what's important.
Yeah, you want things to overlap each other. You want things to blend into each other. You don't have to have every edge hard. You shouldn't have every edge hard. You shouldn't have every piece of every detail of everything, because it becomes cluttered. It becomes confusing. It's harder to read. And one of the things that cartooning and anime can teach you is making something that reads fast, right? You look at it, all the information is there, and there's a clarity to it, right? So especially when you're composing a piece, you're doing your thumbnails and stuff, try and think in big shapes, not details. You can always add details. It's not always easy to fix a composition. You want to, and we've done episodes on composition, and I'm kind of going overboard on this lesson here, but the composition is the skeleton of your image, and it's not just where things are, right? It's not just if things are lying on the thirds or the golden ratio, or you have a cruciform or an L or an S or an O or a triangle. Like there's lots of stuff that you learn about how to compose an image, but one of the things you should also remember is that blocks of things, you want to think in terms of masses of things. You got big chunks of dark and light and warm and cool, and try and figure those things out early before you do a nice drawing, before you do any of that stuff.
That's part of the reason thumbnails are good, is they get that overall just simple composition.
Yeah.
We keep going.
Foreground, midground, background, all that kind of stuff. You want to have it all figured out as early as possible, but as thoroughly as possible. I know everybody, including myself, you want to jump into the part that's interesting. You want to do that armor design, or you want to detail the dragon's face, or you want, like, that's the stuff that's interesting to you. That's fine, but if you don't have the skeleton there, it doesn't matter how much detail you pack onto it. It's never going to really hold up properly. If that makes any sense. Maybe I'm just rambling now.
You can go back to keep on doing your little tokens.
Mm-hmm. Although it's getting about time to wrap things up.
It is
Should we do the 10-minute
so,
warning?
Yeah, you guys have 10 minutes to get your scoodle in. Again, the scoodle subject is a dinosaur chicken.
I'm excited to see dinosaur chickens.
I am too. Poison says that the schoolwork was a big challenge, but she really liked it, actually.
Oh, good.
And Dan found himself applying the idea of push it to cooking this week and made a great pot of lentil soup.
Awesome.
It is actually important in cooking, too. We've done some of the cooking services before where they send you all the ingredients, but then you make the food. And it's super awesome. And the first one we did basically just didn't push it at all. It was too safe. And so, I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't amazing. And the second one we tried really did awesome stuff with the flavors and pushed it, and it was a much more enjoyable experience. Astrox was asking if you're gonna have metal prints at Dragon Con.
We're gonna try.
Yeah, we are planning on the last time you can get metal prints for the year is at Dragon Con and Salt Lake City Comic Con. Those are a con exclusive. They're not something that will be available on the website. So keep an eye on Steve's website and he'll post what images are going to be available at Dragon Con. So if you're interested in getting that, just save up $220 for one of it's a 16 by 24 awesome. We finally, Drew Baker is doing our metal prints and they look gorgeous. They're super foily looking and they just almost look 3D. They're so pretty. So yeah, highly recommend that. That's your cute little elf.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
First sketch at it.
Mm-hmm. First attempt.
Kind of get ideas of what to put in an elf. Has ears, and so you're kind of going with that strong V pattern throughout to kind of draw attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
You got the bow.
That's the other thing about cartooning and all that and simplifying stuff is half the time you'll draw it 4 or 5 times, and each time you're doing that same thing where you're saying, well, what can I take out, or what could be cleaner, what could be more elegant, and you're asking yourself little questions like, right now, for example, he's got this bow and I've exaggerated the shape of the bow, but as I'm looking at it, I'm like, does it need to be that size? Like, would it be more interesting if it were either a tiny, tiny little cute bow, like just this little thing, or to make him feel more diminutive? What if, well, I'd have to shrink him, but you get the idea. What if the bow was gigantic and he's having a hard time fitting it? And these are just experiments to fiddle with and try.
Mm-hmm. Business Wolf says that he agrees that your metal prints were gorgeous.
Yeah,
he was able to find us right away.
We tried. We got lights, LED lights they're supposed to be made specifically for convention displays because they're supposed to be super bright and all the stuff. And we put them on, and they did nothing.
Yeah,
they were just.
Our display is not typical.
It's true. It's not typical, but even.
I think what we'd have to have is honestly like studio lighting.
Yeah, or some relatively powerful spotlights might do it.
That's kind of what I mean. But yeah, and we wish we could have gotten better lighting because it shows off those metal prints so well. So pretty. Oh, chunky elf. Oh, and Steve did some altars. Didn't do actually that many altars this weekend.
Not as many as normal.
But he did a couple for Astroxo. Astroxo had some pre-orders, and then Cat's BFF got one that was hilarious and cute. It was a Moogle riding a chocobo. It was so cute. Tappy was saying it was the light powerful enough to dry out your contacts. It was not, and that's why we need the same lighting that you had in your sketch session. When they were doing the painting session, you want to have one really strong source of light. And another problem with cosplay is that a lot of those costume contact lenses don't breathe at all. And so Tappy her eyes were just drying out. It felt so bad.
It's gotta be hard to just sit there not moving while people stare at you for 3 hours. Yeah, you did amazing.
Well, and Drew asked to have her arm out to give it like more personality, which was really cool. It was a good little extra expression to everything. And we thought she'd only be able to hold the pose for like half an hour, but she did hour sitting sessions. We did 3 of them. It was amazing.
Yeah, how were your arms after that? It seems like the hardest part.
Poison says that's something to think about because she plans on cosplaying. They dry out your eyes normally, but the biggest problem is that it was under this super warm light that was drying it out, and she had to hold.
And since she's
but
posing
they
and
still
trying to
do
hold
get
still,
dry.
she's also trying not to blink too much, and that only makes things worse.
But your eyes still get super dry. You watch the contacts and make sure to bring eye drops when it comes to costume contacts. Because, yeah, they don't breathe. Oh yeah, Tappy just put it. You'll be fine if you have contact solution and are only under the lights for a while. All right, that's pretty cute little elf.
Mm-hmm. And then what I do once I've got my little ruff is I will put it under a color layer that is set to screen, so it lightens it by that much, so that I have that there, but I'm not confusing myself at all with when I'm putting down the line work. The bit that I skipped because it all takes place in my head is I'll try and think of something to go along with it. Like I've got my lifelink and my death touch worms, and I'm thinking about, well, what are they going to be that's different than just worms? So I've got like my Dr. Squirm and my Dr. Kavorka worm. And those, like once I figure out a name and a little bit of a theme, that adds an element to it. And that part I skipped. So I need to think of something to come before or after elf as a modifier to make it more interesting. Because, I mean, it'll work fine if it's just an elf and it's in this cute style, but I usually like to...
You like to give every one of them a story.
Put a little something extra. Like for I have a bunch of wolves, and there's like this wolf, and this wolf is big and buff. So it's not just a wolf. It's got a little something extra that goes with the name. That's the part that I skipped. And so I'm already like, well, what am I going to do? He's kind of boring if he's just an elf. So now accepting submission
Mason
ideas.
just got on here. I wonder if that's the same Mason that helped record some of the...
Oh,
stream
maybe,
sessions.
maybe.
Anyway, if it is, thank you.
Yeah.
To bring that up, actually, so we did record the portrait painting session from last week. We had some streaming problems in the beginning, and that's why Mason was great, is because he actually recorded the beginning part. And we're hoping to grab that video and make it available. It was only done to Twitch, but we're hoping to make it available on Facebook and YouTube also.
Yes.
So keep an eye out for that. It is that, Mason.
Why, hello there.
Well, thank you, Mason.
We're almost done. So, sorry we missed a lot of it. But of course, you can always watch it again.
Yeah. And then it always happens every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Mountain. We always are trying to do this unless we're at a show. So, yeah.
All right, so let's go into the squam work. So my squam work was Brigitte doing her kettlebell workout. She's got that like rocket chain hammer thing.
So you know she has to work out to get it.
Yeah. Well, I like the personality. I like her little T-shirt that says I work out because I love to eat. That's a lot of what got me into working out. Is I was your usual teenage comic book / video game / art nerd, and in my early 20s, so not too long after that, I took a job at a video game studio, and it's not that everybody was like horrifically out of shape or whatever, but they were kind of what you would expect from people who work in video games in a dark studio and everything. They weren't in great shape, but they all talked about how they wished that they were in as good a shape as they were in their 20s. I was the youngest guy by about 5 years when I got hired. Almost everybody was over 30 at least, and I was 20, 23, something like that. And one guy was like an ex-bodybuilder. A lot of them had some lots of hobby things that they used to do when they were younger. So they were when they were my age. A good portion of them talked about when they were my age, they were in great shape, and they were semi-professional skiers, or they were they were like competitive bodybuilders. They were this, that, and the other, and a lot of them were they lamented that they let that go. And I was already not in great shape. I mostly lived on ramen noodles and soda.
What's changed?
It's changed a little bit. I would go to Costco, and at the time you could buy a box of like 200 Baby Ruth bars. I would get those, and I would get a case of Mountain Dew, the largest thing that they offered, and that's what I ate. I mean, if I had stuck with that, I would be dead by now already. But I figured I moved to a new place. I got a new job. If I was going to start a habit of any sort, now's the time to do it. So it was like my third day at work. I went and I found a gym that was within walking distance, and I joined, and I hired a personal trainer. And I basically said, your job is to make me hate how much you harass me to get this stuff done, right? Because I'm not a workout guy. I'm not going to want to. I'm going to try and fire you after a week. I know it. I'm going to be like, I just did, yeah, whatever. So the biggest part of your job is to bug me until I get here and to be like, what have you been eating? And just your job is to be like the worst mom I ever could ever have. And and they were great, right? They nagged me and they made sure that I got to the gym, and if I didn't, they got that was what I needed. I didn't necessarily need, at least yet, the technique and somebody to really push me hard at the gym. It was, I need somebody who was gonna not let me forget that I'm supposed to be there. Anyways, sorry, that kind of get long and rambly, but
You're super rambly tonight.
yeah, I guess I'm a little rambly. So that's what got me into working out in the first place, and then I kept doing it because I liked the idea that I could eat more, and my appetite went up, but my weight went down. Um, so I identify with Brigitte. Anyways, let's move on. I am just
But everyone
rambling.
was talking in business was saying, yeah, getting healthy is important. You'd be amazed at where you can, the more you can do when you feel good. It's so true. So the first one up for their favorite characters workout
Poison
is
stripes.
Poison Stripes character. Wow, Poison, you're getting even better and better at anatomy and
Yeah.
clothing design. And wow, look at that. The abs are boss. The pecs are great. Buff.
Yeah.
She's curling 50 pounds. Good job. And she was putting in like the common little character things like the scar
Mm-hmm.
on there.
Nice.
Nicely done.
Yeah. She's strong. 50 pounds is many pounds.
Poison says she got into working out after band camp freshman year. Loved how her calves looked. Panda's training for a marathon right now. That's why she's late. She told me she was going to be late because she had to go run 3 miles. Dan says he totally forgot the theme of the homework and he worked hard on this in hopes of having it ready.
Nice.
Still not totally a finished project.
Yeah, your anatomy's getting a lot more solid too.
Yeah, very nice. The shading.
You're getting
the
this.
clothing is getting good too with the
Mhm.
line, the folds and the seams and stuff too.
Well, what I noticed about where you've progressed is that you're learning where to let the detail go. You know, you don't have to put in every little line of every little thing because things blend together. You'll have some definition here, and then sometimes it
Disappears
It smooths
because
out.
of how the light goes.
and that makes a lot more realistic and a lot more interesting image. So yeah, good work. Good work.
And Panda got here just in time. Is Jigglypuff on a treadmill, sweating and unhappy?
Party Mouse
Is
is
Party
like,
Mouse the coach?
do
Keep
it.
going, Jiggly!
We believe in you.
Or is how he gets Jigglypuff to keep going? He just sings Jigglypuff song to him. Jigglypuff, Jigglypuff,
Jogglypuff.
Jigglypuff.
That's another sign that I'm getting older, is I say stuff like that. All right, so
Yeah.
that's all the
Amanda
swim work.
said, Panda says that Party Mouse is the life coach. So now we're going to move on to the Scoodle, which is dinosaur chickens.
Chicken dinosaurs. Dinosaur chickens.
Panda put on their morph puff less jiggle is what the coach would yell.
Oh, he's a very angry
Yes,
looking.
he's angry. It's got the chicken legs, but then extra claw.
Eviscerating claws.
Yes.
The
I
very
would not want to run
dinosaur
into
head.
that chicken.
Yeah.
That looks like a scary chicken dinosaur. An angry, angry chicken dinosaur.
And the next we have dance.
You went like a dragon hero with that. Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like a basilisk.
And it reminds me of like the classic coat of arms sort of twirl on the wyvern sort of dragon.
Mm-hmm.
With only the front legs. I like
Cool.
it a lot.
Yeah.
It's very cool, and you did a good job with the simplistic line work and everything like that.
It's crazy barbed tail too.
Mm-hmm. Cockatrice.
Wicked.
It's very nice.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah. You'd think I'd played enough D&D that I would know my monsters, but
Whose is this next one? Is it Jamek?
it is Jamek, yes.
Got the feathers going on all over.
And it's a long neck dinosaur style like that. Brontosaurus.
Oh, it's almost
Sorry.
bedtime. Yeah, I like the dinosaur feel to it. Is the multi legs, the four legs with the long neck, but then it still has the chicken face and the chicken feathers.
Even when we're not traveling, I get jet lag kind of after a show because
We go hard for 3 or 4 days. Very nicely done, Jamek. I like the play on the dinosaur.
Yeah.
All right. Whose is this one?
It's Tappy Toe Claws.
Tappy.
He's a dancing dinosaur.
You look so happy.
So happy.
The tongue loll. Nah.
That is awesome.
And it's so feathery. It is the puffiest chicosaur ever.
Yes, it's a very huggable, fluffy dino thing.
Except that it'll bite you.
Maybe it reminds me a little bit of like a Don Bluth cartoon where they dance around and they're like what? Which one am I thinking of?
Rockadoodle.
Maybe, yeah, I guess a little bit. Rockadoodle.
Your sisters will freak out. They love Rockadoodle.
We used an adequate pipe.
And don't forget cute and
Cute
fluffy.
and fluffy.
Is what Tappy wrote on that.
Next up, Astaroxo.
Astaroxo. I like how he played with the colors and the extra dinosaur arms on the chicken it's chicken looking, but it's got the arms that are gonna.
It's like a Godzilla chicken. Oh,
It's got the
freaky.
scariest legs, and there's even a little blood and red on that. Now we see where Cat's BFF gets it from on the claws.
Did she ask you to do that? She say needs blood?
Oh, wow. Kristen is on. I told you she would
Oh.
comment on the Rockadoodle. And she says it has to be sexy fuzzy dino to be proper WTF Don Bluth style.
You found whatever his name, the Elvis chicken. You found him sexy. Did
guess so.
that forever shape your? Because when you used to watch that over and over again, you were like 7. That's the part that's unsettling me.
Oh, the scary part is Tappy said sexy fuzzy dino thing. Don't tempt me. Oh no. All right, I like this. Who did this one? This is funny.
Cat's BFF.
Oh, this totally took it a different direction. Where it's
They're dino chicken nuggets.
because the dino nuggets and the chicken nuggets, they totally took it that direction. Like that's a total fun pun.
Yeah.
Very witty. I like it. And did you see the title of it?
Delicious.
I did something good for
I did
once.
something good for once.
I love where you took that. That is funny because it's dino chicken nuggets. Now I'm craving chicken nuggets.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that is super witty. Good night, golf clap. Nicely done.
Wendy's is open till 11.
Oh, today's the first day of our nutrition plan.
Yeah. Okay.
And Panda's telling us we can buy the dino chicken nuggets at Costco. Dino buddies.
Next up, Cabby Boy. Wow, you got serious.
Yes, Cabby did get serious.
Super serious.
Got all the
That looks like
pretty
it's
blue
the
colors.
real result
The
of
walking hands
yeah.
of what's gonna happen once the
This is what we're gonna see on the news as the first escaped dinosaur thing that is
gonna come
terrorizing
from
a
the
small
crowdsourcing.
neighborhood in the Midwest.
Well, luckily, hopefully, it'll be chicken sized.
Yeah, like maybe instead of terrorizing, it'll be that some little girl somewhere found him and adopted him as a pet.
Cabby says, "I
His
like
parents freaked
dinosaurs a lot." I have a feeling many
It's
people
hard not to
on
like
our
dinosaurs.
it's kind of an art thing. Like I think most artists and I imagine most people on the stream are dinosaur fanatics.
I have been tempted many times to buy clone fossils of dinosaur bones. Problem is that the good ones are very expensive.
Yes.
They actually, I don't know if they had them at Gen Con this year, but in previous years, they had, there's a company called Bone Clone, or Bone Clones, and that's what they do, is they have museum quality fossil replicas. And they're super cool. And it was super cool a few years ago.
Cabby yelled, "I have one! They're super cool!"
Oh, yeah? Ah.
And she's also saying that this seems like it'd be a cool little pet, an adorable little pet.
Yeah. It does. What does it eat?
Oh, Poison's hearing thunder and lightning. They might lose their connection.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, hopefully you don't lose it, Poison. Stay with us.
Next we have Soliferous.
Soliferous? I've never seen
you're
Soliferous plus
new.
before. Welcome, Soliferous.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome. Unless you're just using a different name, but this is freaking adorable. This reminds me of the
That's
animal
super cool,
bestiary. Or what do they call it? The
Baby bestiary.
Baby bestiary. This reminds me of that.
Yeah.
That is super cute.
It's a mama chicken dragon.
Mama
Dino.
chicken dragon. Dino dragon.
This kind of look like a dragon version.
Again, this one is like, I think that, so Dan did the cockatrice, and this one looks like more of the like actual, instead of the icon style cockatrice, this one seems like more of like how it would look, again, Baby bestiary style.
Mm-hmm.
More realistic. That's so, oh!
That's great.
Silvers is Mrs. Controller Freak.
Oh, awesome. Oh, well,
Welcome. Please
Yeah.
keep drawing with us.
yeah.
We want to
It's
see
great to
more
have
of your
you.
gorgeous pictures.
Great to have you on.
I like her little like subtle like hand around the like egg,
Mm-hmm.
little claw. That's adorable.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is very nice to live with. And then she even gave it like slightly feminine eyes, like with the little eyelashes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it feels feminine. Alright, is this one the next one?
Next one's Panda. KFD.
I like that instead of where her spines go on the dinosaur, it's feathers.
It's also like a Godzilla, only feathery.
It like kills me wherever the spines are. Feathers! And then yes, it's gonna eat KFD. Kentucky Fried Dinosaur.
Awesome.
I love the feather spines.
And Party Mouse. It's cool.
It makes me laugh. She says it was super rushed, but again, it's all about like just like some of the like gestures and funny little ideas that you put into things.
Mm-hmm. Just thinking of something fun. All right. I think that's everybody. If I missed you for either Squamwork or the Scoodle, let me know. But I think we got everyone. So, all that is left is squam work. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's do everyday uses for time machines.
That one's a hard one. Everyday uses
You have to
for
think
time
about
machines.
it a little bit. But yeah, everyday uses for time machines.
So, like, I forgot to do my laundry earlier today, so I just go back and put my laundry in.
That could be an everyday use for a time machine, yes.
Scorpion Green says they just bought their tickets to Japan for the GP in November.
Oh,
I thought the
We should
GP
do
was
that.
in December.
I think the one we're doing
The
is
one
in
we're
December.
doing is December.
I don't think there's more than. I think there's only 3 in Japan this year, so. Probably talking
Kristen's
about the
suggestion for everyday uses for a time machine is to make yourself breakfast. So you don't have to wake up earlier.
You wake up, breakfast is delivered by you from the future.
Jamie like this. Ooh, I got this.
Nice.
Dan says he'll go back and slap Steve for this assignment. It's not a teleporter, it's just a time machine.
You'll have to find me first. Cool. Well,
Scorpion says, yeah, end of November, start of December. So
Yeah,
we
we're
will
looking
be there.
forward
We'll
to
be at Shizuoka.
that'll be fun.
I'm so excited.
It'll be our 3rd trip to Japan, and I am.
Make sure to come and say hi and tell us who you are.
Yes.
Please.
I've been trying to learn Japanese, and it is hard because a lot of the romantic languages haven't been too hard for me to at least get enough little bit here and there. Like German's the only one that I'm actually comfortable with, but we go to Italy and we can more or less. Cat's better in Italian than I am by far, but most of those you can kind of work your way through because the syntax is similar, the words are similar, they're all based in the same thing. And the thing that I'm struggling with with Japanese is the different structure and the different way they approach saying things,
Mm-hmm.
But I'll get
Scorpion Green says they got the foil Lilianas, so they will definitely come and see us.
Awesome. Yeah.
Very cool. Panda asked, will Totoro let you into his house this time? We are looking into it. We don't know if we're going up to Tokyo again. It kind of depends if our friend, if my spirit animal comes. If he does, then we'll probably hit Tokyo again.
Mm-hmm. We're thinking about it.
Yeah. If Joe comes with us, then we might, but we might go somewhere else in Japan for that.
Yeah, because we have been to Tokyo, and Totoro broke our hearts, so. I guess if we want to go, then we should probably start trying to get tickets now.
Tappy says she's so excited because she'll have to tell her Japanese Steve Minion friend that if she'll be there.
Yes.
Dan might try to make it down to Dragon Con.
Oh, nice. Dragon Con's a fun show. We're looking forward to it.
Scorpion says my wife's super excited to see the Studio Ghibli event thing. Okay, if you want to see the Studio Ghibli thing, you have to buy tickets super uber far in advance. You can't buy them on site.
Yes.
We learned that, and that's why Panda's asking us, is because we went to Studio Ghibli and frickin' Totoro told us we couldn't come in his house and flipped us off, and he's a jerk.
Yes. we learned the hard way. Because if you do a quick search online for how to get tickets, they say, oh, they're available at like local gas stations and stuff. Like convenience stores have them. They've partnered with this convenience store chain that are everywhere, and just pick them up there, and they're like $10. So we're like, oh, easy, no problem. And we so we went to one of these convenience stores. This was actually after we got
kicked out.
We're like, oh, okay, well, let's look up how to get them. And it's like, oh, you just need to go to this convenience store. It's like, oh.
I mean, they're sold out for like 2 months. Although I think you can get them from a travel agent for like a lot sooner, but the travel agents mark them up by like 200%.
Yeah. So what happens is travel agents will buy all of them from these convenience stores at the $10 or whatever.
And Ben Hart says you're able to buy them at the Lawson convenience stores. Yes, you can. They're still booked asterisk. Usually months out. And
yeah. The Lawson convenience stores, as we understand it at least, ticket agencies will just buy them before anybody else can actually get them. They'll just buy all of them the day they come out, and then they will hike up the price and resell them. So
you can get them at Lawson's, and if you have someone who can get them months in advance in Lawson, like it's cheap at the Lawson convenience store. It's cheap. You can get them in advance. But the only way you can buy them if you're stateside is through the
ticket agencies.
And so they know it and they mark it up.
Yeah, because when we were looking, it was like $150 if you were planning in advance, and add another 100 to that if you wanted to if you wanted to see it in a hurry. But the actual Lawson tickets were, I think they were even less than $10. They were really
dirt cheap.
Yeah, they were negligibly
Can't
cheap.
Put it, a fluffy, cute jerk is in the Totoro.
Yes.
So
yeah, if you're gonna do, tell your friend if they're gonna do that.
Wife.
Do the homework and get that stuff taken care of early. Don't repeat our mistake.
Yeah. Totoro's a jerk. Steve drew a picture of Totoro flipping him off. If you go back and search through some of his stuff, it was great. Anyway, I think that's it for tonight. So make sure to do your schoolwork. We'll be back next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Schoolwork, everyday uses for a time machine. Don't forget that that art makes life better. So try to art with us, even if it's not your thing usually. No matter where you're at in art, with art, do it. It makes life better. And thanks for joining us, guys. We heart you. And thank you for everyone who went and saw us at Gen Con. Mm-hmm. You guys made the weekend so awesome. So thank you, all the Astaroxos and Cat's BFF and Beckety and Mini Astaroxo and Business Wolf and Tappy. It was so awesome seeing all you guys. Thanks so much. Thanks for your support. We heart you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.